Okay, so I feel like I need to jump on and just clarify a few things because I got so many messages from people asking if I was hacked after that man bear post. Um, so if you missed it, I posted a picture of a very burly, very muscly looking man, commonly referred to as a bear, which is the term used in the queer community and the gay community to describe a really cuddly, muscly, big, hairy, strong, very masculine man. And it was a response to the viral post or thought experiment asking women if they were walking alone in the woods and they came across, would you rather come across a bear or would you rather come across a man? And loads of women are saying that they would rather come across a man and giving all kinds of come across a bear, and giving all kinds of reasons why that's preferable, why they would feel safer with a bear rather than a man. So it's been a really interesting topic of conversation. Obviously, it was quite jarring for some of you to see that post because for the last couple of weeks I've just been exclusively sharing fundraisers from people in Gaza at the moment. I've taken some time to pull back from social media, so you haven't seen my face on here in a while because I've been working on my website and just processing some things just in my own life, doing my own healing work. And just focusing on my website, which will be up soon, and I will be announcing that. But yeah, I wanted to just make a silly comment because, I meant to post that on Facebook. And, people on Facebook, I have a lot more people who've known me for a really, really long time and who know how I am. I can be a bit sarcastic, a bit silly when I'm trying to get my point across. And people on there tend to get my humour a bit more, but I think some people who've only known me for the last few months on here were really found it really jarring. Even some people who've known me for years found it a bit jarring because it's a bit of a departure from my usual content or my recent content. But before October 7th, I was posting a lot about masculine feminine dynamics and the state of the gender war on this planet is a source of great pain and frustration and sadness for me personally, and for a lot of us. It causes a lot of problems, a lot of heartbreak, a lot of grief, and a lot of violence on this planet. So I kind of wanted to speak to it with that post. I mean, I was just kind of being silly, saying you can have both, a man who is a bear, because the true organic Christ masculine, the true divine masculine frequency is super protective and super cuddly and just wants to show up for you and be your hero and protect you. But unfortunately, we have these fallen masculine aspects on the planet which have been going to war with the feminine principle for eons, actually. This misogynistic antichrist spirit that operates through people's wounds, through men's wounds specifically, and even through their genetics as well. This is like a major form of spiritual warfare that's been humans have been subjected to on this planet for a long time. Just trying to find a place to sit down. So what do I want to say about that? So, it's kind of unfortunate that women even need protection from men. Sorry, I'm just trying to get some light on my face. It's unfortunate that we even need protection from men. But the way that I look at it and the way, I went through a whole initiation around feminism many years ago, and I was very angry for a long time about what was happening on the planet with men specifically. And why they weren't speaking up and why they weren't calling in other men and forcing them to do better. It is unfortunate that we need protection from other men because of the violence on this planet. But the way I see it is misogynistic men who hate the feminine principle or want to attack or siphon or covet the feminine principle whilst also hating her. They also hate the feminine in men. You know, we all have masculine and feminine energy within our fields, and that feminine principle, that current of care within a man that's coded with, you know, divine masculine principles or Christ masculine principles, will also be attacked and subjugated and possibly even harmed by a man that has misogynistic antichrist programming, or has, you know, entities running through his field attaching to his wounds that cause him to hate that feminine principle through whatever wounding he's been through, or just because he's just a shit person who probably won't ever be rehabilitated. So, you know, I also understand why other men who carry that more like heart-centered divine feminine and like love and reverence for the feminine principle are scared to call in, you know, abusers and rapists and things like that, because they'll also be harmed. Like, men are also can be violent to each other, so it's not just like, you know, that men who are violent are only violent to, sorry, this is actually a really ugly background, it's like a toilet there, are also really violent to other men. So understand that, like, you as a woman have something so valuable. You can take something so valuable, and that is, you know, your connection to the Divine Mother, to Sophia. Your womb is a portal to 0 point. Like, you can your womb contains dark matter, you know, it's pure potential energy. It's like creational energy. You're a portal to other worlds that kind of ushers new life into this realm. So that's super, super valuable and super potent. And men want it. They, you know, they desire it so much, even if they hate it, because, you know, when they have wounds around feeling rejected by the feminine, or mother wounds, you know, a lot of men have, in my work with men, I have like 50-50 like male and female clients at this point. A lot of men have really, really deep mother wounds, because it's not just, you know, I'm sorry to say, it's not just men on this planet that are violent. And can be, you know, overtaken by demonic forces and hurt people. Women can also, you know, as we've been seeing the last 6 months, I mean, look at the violence in the Middle East. It's not just perpetrated by men, it's also being perpetrated by very hateful and genocidal women. So women can definitely cause harm as well. They can cause harm to children, and they can also cause harm, psychological and emotional abuse, to other men, to men that they're in relationship with. So men can also, you know, develop these wounds that cause them to turn against women. And I'm not, you know, I'm not victim blaming or saying it all comes back to women or saying it's all women's fault. I'm just trying to explain how some of these things happen and how they operate. So if they have, you know, wounds, they have like rejection wounds, or just, you know, mother wounding, it can cause them to just go to war within themselves with their own feminine energy and suppress their own feminine energy, not be able to connect to their emotional bodies, go to war with the feminine within themselves and then without as well. So then they don't know how to be in reverence and service and devotion and honor to the feminine, because that makes them feel weak, because their own feminine energy makes them feel weak, and they just want to like control and dominate and subdue and just, you know, harm her into all types of ways. So that's the kind of most extreme manifestations of this spiritual warfare that we're seeing on the planet, and we also see this in, you know, more subtle ways as well, because this is obviously a spectrum, you know. This is what a lot of the women were saying with the whole bear thing. They're like, you know, he won't pretend to be my friend, or people won't say like, did you enjoy the bear attack and stuff like that, because, you know, men can seem really nice in the beginning, and then we can find out that, you know, people have deep shadows. A lot of people have deep shadows, particularly men. A lot of the men that I work with have really deep shadows around their masculine energy, where they've suppressed aspects of that more primal masculine consciousness, that can be savage, that is a warrior, that is, you know, can be that that drive to unify with the feminine that becomes really unhealthy, if not contained, like a very kind of, what's the word, like a kind of rapey, or like a sexually aggressive type of energy. When the two energies are harmonized, these aspects of masculine consciousness, there's a very real purpose for them. There's a reason why men have that warrior instinct. It's to be able to protect their families, to protect the sacred, to protect the land and things like that. There's a reason why they have that, that drive to unify with the feminine. It's because, when he's in pure devotion and reverence to the feminine principle, that penetrative energy is extremely intoxicating for union if you're in a healthy union. But a lot of people on this planet are not, because of all these wounds around, our masculine and feminine energy and the misogyny that we're facing on the planet. And it's not just it's not only misogyny, it's not just a hatred for the feminine principle, the divine feminine principle, Mother Sophia, the Holy Spirit. It's an antichrist spirit, actually. So it's also a hatred for the true organic Christ masculine. Like, I've seen it in clients' fields. Sometimes they put like implants in the sacral centers, or the root also, which is also a major sexual center for the masculine, of like mockery, crucifixion implants. Like, I've seen this is quite a gnarly and also really nefarious one, where sometimes they'll see like a crown of thorns in the root chakra, which is like it's like a mockery and a sodomization of the true organic Christ masculine sexual energy, which wants to merge with the heart, wants to merge with the crown, and wants to merge with God in true divine union. But it siphons it, it mocks it, it makes you feel like you're less of a man if you have those desires to truly unify with, with God and, a woman in sacred union, and feeds and inverts those energies into kind of lower timelines, so that you have these more like addictive tendencies of wanting to get feminine energy from here, there and everywhere. I was just talking about, it's just making a comment, like, some of you won't get it because it was obviously just very, I didn't really expand on it, but just unifying those, that primal animalistic aspect of the masculine with that sacred, protective, divine, Christ-like qualities. And that's the work that we're doing here, just integrating and healing all our wounds and calling back lost aspects of ourselves that became splintered off through trauma. I'm going to make another reel as well, so I'll post that either today or tomorrow, talking about the marches that are currently happening, the student encampments that are currently happening all over the world, and talk about police brutality and how we can reclaim our sovereignty. I'm going to share my experience with when I was arrested at a march a few years ago and I successfully sued the police. So I think, I'll be sharing some stuff about common law that will be helpful for anybody who's taking part in those. So I hope you join me for that. All right, see ya.